You are now tuned in to FYC The Show with your host, Vinny Bronco.
Repercussion.
And in the booth we got Just Tech. What's going on, people? FYC The Show here, Vinny Bronco.
Repercussion.
Just Heck.
Shakeem, a.k.a. Murder 9300.
Yeah.
So today we're going to do something. We're going to talk about... I've been reading online. It was probably for clickbait, but it was an article I read, and it basically said that the PS5 might be Sony's last console. And what it got me thinking about when I was reading the article was I wanted to talk about how the streaming services could or potentially take over the sales of video games. So, anybody got any ideas or anything they want to start it off with?
Well, what you got, Murder?
Guess first.
I don't think PS5 is going to be the last console for Sony.
I agree. That's why I said I think it was just clickbait. But
yeah, I heard that they supposedly it's the last console because they're having problems pricing this one, right? They say what it costs $450 to make, to manufacture.
Yeah.
But me, personally, I don't mind spending $500, or even in the near future, we get a PS6, 7, if it's $600-700, I don't mind. We spend it on our phones.
Agreed.
That's true. I didn't think about that. You're right.
Even more.
I'll buy a phone for $1,000 and really don't use it at all. So, me personally, if they're gonna keep upgrading and giving us better consoles, better hardware, I'll pay for it.
All right, I agree with that. That is definitely a good point on the whole smartphone, because I definitely got a $1,000 smartphone in my pocket.
I can say that there are a lot of people out there.
Not to talk about cell phones, but the next Galaxy phone is...
The 20?
Yes.
S20 is $1,200.
No.
Yeah, I see it.
If you trade in your phone, but if you don't have a phone to trade in,
well, for me, if I traded in, I could get it for $399.
I saw the highest price was $1,500.
Is that the Plus?
No, it was the Ultra 5G.
Oh, right, yeah. You can only use that on Verizon's network right now, or Verizon and T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man. So I don't think it's gonna be the last console, man.
Yeah,
Definitely not.
Yeah. I agree. I
feel like the article's title was just clickbait, so people would click it and read it.
I believe
I read that same article in the Times, though. So it was, it's...
Sony did put it out there. They did say that this might feel to be the last console because they feel that the console wars are over and it doesn't feel like they can go any further with consoles. But in the same article, it also mentioned it being a possibility that just because this price, if it does well, it may not be. So if it all comes down to if the PlayStation 5 sells well, then we might see a PlayStation 6.
Definitely.
You know?
Of course, if it's selling, they're going to continue.
Like,
the whole price point thing that they're talking about, though, it doesn't matter to me. The reason why is because when the PS3 came out, even though it was so expensive, they sold it at a loss. So they lost money for every unit they sold.
PS4.
The PS3.
The PS3 originally
the
dropped at
PS4,
$700.
they made money on it every time they sold, but the PS3, they sold it for less than it cost to make. So they took a loss on it.
A lot of the
because they didn't want to price it too high.
I think I did see
because the stuff inside the original PS3 was so powerful at the time that it was
ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Too powerful.
Yeah.
I purchased mine for $700.
Yeah.
That was day one, $700.
Yeah,
day
mine
one.
too.
So many people did not buy it.
No, I didn't buy it.
And they completely,
I didn't have it day one, but I still paid
cut.
$700.
What is it, 400 they went back down to? And they lost a revenue of 300 in the process. So,
I'm not even talking about the ones when the price dropped. The original one, when it first came out, was stronger than the newer ones that came out cheaper.
And it was
they dumped them down and lowered the price, and then people bought them cheaper. And it was bad because then they couldn't really use the full potential of the original because they had to make it so that the newer ones, which were less powerful,
I noticed that
could still play the games.
It's like they upgraded in hard drive space, but then downgraded in power because in the new versions you couldn't play the old games, but it wasn't backwards compatible anymore.
Also, another problem they had with that was
because
lenses.
They took the chip off, though.
Yeah,
they took the chip off because the thing was, at the time, the directive was to push forward but they didn't realize that people had love for a lot of those PS3 titles and PS2 titles.
Yeah.
So they just said, and with advances in technology, you only need a fraction of the motherboard now to put, and I mean, you can either run a software, a software emulator on it, or you can just put a chip and it'll just run.
Yeah.
But I was thinking when I read the Times article, it might have been Times or Forbes. I don't remember. Because I thought it was clickbait at first as well. But I was thinking it kind of makes sense that it could, because if you look at streaming and the advances in streaming, and yeah, Google Stadia took an L in the first round, but all it takes is someone to perfect it and get the model right, get the business model right, and you can come out and then you think about it. Right now, it's costing $450 to make the console, right? Out of the console, you're not talking about the actual casing. You got the cooling system, which is like $50, which is expensive for a console. Yeah. Then you got the RAM and the processor. That right there, then because it only costs like $2 to make the actual casing, or even if you want to be generous and say $5, at the end of the day, you're paying a lot for the hardware inside.
Yep.
You develop a streaming, and honestly, the industry's looking at Xbox. They're looking at their Xbox Pass, and they're looking at that, and they're saying, you know what? That works. How can we make that better? And all it takes is someone to say...
I can actually tell you how you can make it better. Giving the player the option of purchasing it and keeping it in their library.
Yeah, of course.
Because if
don't they do that already though on the Pass, or no?
Yeah, you can still purchase the games.
Yeah, you'll have it in your library. It's kind of like Origin or Steam. You buy the game, you can have it in your library. So
that's what I'm saying. But if for those who aren't hardcore gamers,
right,
it's understandable because you're gonna play it, may not pick it back up,
right,
and you could probably pick something up 2 days, 3 days, maybe even 3 months later. But for a hardcore gamer, if you want the game, you're gonna keep it. I don't know how Game Pass works.
Yeah.
But if any of the streaming service is anywhere near the way Netflix has theirs, you're going to see a lot of games cycle out.
I think with the emergence of smart TVs, you don't really need a console. You download the app, it goes straight on your TV, you have your whole library. Now, does it take away from you having your library? I go back to when, with the PS4, and me asking you about discs. And you were like, I don't do discs anymore. I do digital. And I look at your collection.
So do I.
All of your whole collection on this is all from the PS3 and the PS2. I think you have like 4 games on the PS4.
I have PS3 and PS2 on the shelf. My PS1 and PS2 are in crates.
Right. But as far as PS4,
I got like
majority of your games are digital.
I probably got like 3 games.
So, and
I go digital because I feel like there's no space to put them after some point. And then you give us a console that's not backwards compatible. I'm talking,
so now you got all
from
this.
PS3 to PS4. It's like now you got all this stuff here.
Right.
There's nowhere to put it.
Right.
So I go digital.
Now, I still have the original PS3 that plays all of the old games, so I can still play them whenever I want.
Oh, okay.
So, and then with the PS5 coming out and being backwards compatible, I'm still going to have that option.
It could be a reality, though. I mean, I don't know. It all depends. Like you said, I read today.
The only problem I can see with that is the people who are going to suffer are the gamers who don't have good internet connections.
Yes.
Shout out to Hulkbuster.
So one of the issues,
90210-565-2800.
So one of the big issues with Google Stadia was you needed at least a minimum of 100 megabytes to run at 60 frames per second and at least have 1080p, maybe even 4K.
So it's behind the times. But because technology is always expanding, I mean, it's every 6 months, and soon it's going to be every 3 months. Remember when SD cards were like, oh man, I got to wait a year for it to go up to 128 gigabytes. Now they already got a terabyte coming out soon, and like the next couple of months. So it's like, yes, Google Stadia, the industry is looking at it from the standpoint of, okay, they messed up because they came out too fast.
Yeah.
But telling you, it's soon it's going to be really easy to get a wireless signal that you can steal from somebody's house and that's gonna pump easily 200-300 megabytes.
Definitely.
Just takes time.
So, but we're still talking about people where good internet
for right now.
Yes.
is available, because
Right.
there's parts of the country where the internet is not
Yeah,
True.
definitely.
But
in the country.
If
and
you're
things like
looking
that.
at-
and there are gamers out there too.
if you're looking at your biggest markets, New York,
True.
LA, Chicago,
Japan.
Houston, Japan, you look at your biggest
Yeah.
markets, they all have great internet.
It's crazy.
So
'cause-
yeah, I could try to look out for Homeboy and Rancho Cucamonga, but
I mean, we appreciate you watching
we
us.
appreciate you
yeah.
guys. But if I'm trying to make money off a video game console, that's 10 people in that one town.
I get
Versus
your point. I get your point.
there's 1 million people. There's 5 million people in Manhattan alone. So
How
who
I
am I
feel-
going to cater to?
There's 12 billion in Japan.
Like
How I
this,
feel,
like sitting like this.
how I feel, Sony says this may be their last console. It may be their last console for disc wise, but they may go into something like how Google did with the Google Stadia, and it may be something fully like something that's gonna blow the market, and they're looking at all options,
Right.
How
No,
they
they
can
are.
do things, and if they come out with something like that, it ends up becoming
Right.
the streaming war. It's no longer a console.
Right.
Now it's a streaming service.
Right. No, there's truth to that.
You know?
Now, I don't think Sony's going anywhere. Like, I don't think they're leaving because the PlayStation for Sony makes the most money for the whole company.
Well,
So they're not gonna just give up on that and be like, okay, we're not doing games anymore.
No, of
Obviously,
course.
they're gonna continue in the game market. But whether this is the last console or not,
Nah.
we'll see.
I
I'm
doubt
hoping it's not, because as a collector, I still would like to actually,
have it.
keep my stuff and not
Yeah,
just stream it.
I think
Yeah.
from a standpoint of like I could see it being a reality.
I only like streaming. When I heard of Google Stadia,
You was a
I
big
was
fan of that.
Big fan of
you
it.
wanted to get it. I remember.
I still want it. Only to travel and be able to play my game anywhere.
Right.
But when I get home, I want a console. I want a console where I can download. I don't want any hiccups. Like if I'm somewhere else and my game is lagging, I'll just be like, yeah, all right, look where I'm at.
You're not going to be playing Call of Duty multiplayer
Yeah, yeah.
while
You know,
wherever you
but-
are. You're going to be playing.
If you have
offline
your
games.
PlayStation 6 app, and you wherever you are, you not only does the game, you have your whole library, and you be in your hotel room or wherever you're at. So and then that's less than you got to pack. I'm just saying, like
Yeah.
I personally, I'm old school, so I want a console. You want that. That's how we grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
sitting in your living room and
Yeah.
everybody come on. Oh, you got the new? Yeah, I got it. You know what I mean? And that
Yeah.
that was the thing. But with the way technology is running, and with it's all about trying to stretch a dollar, especially in the American economy. It's you're trying to stretch as much as you can.
Yeah.
And if I could minimize, mind you, this is a big risk to work to the workforce and this affects that.
Yeah.
That cuts jobs. That does a lot. It's really impactful. So it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
Because you figure how many millions of people are going to be out of a job because now there's nobody. There's no assembly line.
Yeah.
No one's there to screw this in or test this out. Now it's just software. Everything.
Yeah.
So it's something I'm hoping that it doesn't come to fruition. But looking at it from a business standpoint,
It's understandable.
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I could save, if I could save $500 million, and then on top of that still make $6 billion. The society we live in, it's capitalism at its finest. Call it what it is.
Makes sense.
The console wars, a lot of people choose sides, everybody picks.
And like you said, that's dead.
Yeah,
I mean,
the console wars are dead. I
Right.
can say Sony pushed it to its breaking point,
Right.
where Sony pushed the wars and won it and had Microsoft backed up into a corner.
Yep.
For them to go and reach out to Nintendo, reach out to Steam,
saw that.
to
I thought that was
everybody,
so
and was
weird.
like, look,
They reached out to Sony too, but
they
Sony
was
was
like,
like,
we want to put Xbox games in
Right.
all the gamers' hands.
right.
And Sony, whether if Microsoft did it and Sony was the one that asked, Microsoft would have put them into a corner where they had no choice.
When the PS3 came out, Sony kind of went to Microsoft and said, "Yo, let's merge our online so that the gamers can play together and be
Xbox
more
was like,
unified."
There were so
unit."
many
And
people.
Microsoft was like, "No."
Yeah, there were so
Then
many people.
When Microsoft was behind, they went to Sony and said the same thing. So Sony said
told
no.
them no.
Sony is so their sale point at this point is they want to sell 6 million units by next March.
Yeah, I read that.
So that's from December. That's like what 4 months. 4 months they want to sell 6 million units.
Well, they got at least 4 in this room right now.
Yes, easily.
Maybe 5.
Because I need 2.
Right?
Yeah,
you need 2. You're gonna need 2.
Yeah.
But man,
Actually, I
that's
feel like he needs more than 2.
that's like
'cause his kids be
1,200
taking
dollars
it.
you
right
got the
there,
kids.
man.
You may need
Nah, I ain't
3.
buying no.
You gonna give them the
You gonna give them the
PS4?
4?
They already got a 4.
So
I'm
you
trading in my
eventually-
The only
Eventually,
the only
yeah.
reason why Shania got a PS4 is because I upgraded to a Pro.
Right.
So she took my old PS4.
Right.
Okay.
Other than that, she would have just
Right.
had the box.
You gonna trade in the
The
PS4
Xbox.
to get it, or you gonna? I'm gonna take advantage.
I got
if I
3
see
of
a
them.
sale,
So
no,
yeah, I'll give
and
up
it's
one.
and the 5 is backwards compatible all the way back to 1. So
Yeah,
I don't see the point in
definitely.
having my 4. Just
I only need to keep
whatever.
one.
I'll keep the games.
Definitely.
and
I got 2, and it's just
Yeah.
me. So yeah,
it doesn't make. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely.
I might even get rid of one of them earlier on.
GameStop has a sale. I'm getting it.
Speaking of GameStop, they're going down.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's a good topic
They
to
don't
talk
even-
about.
I feel-
Yeah, maybe next time.
I feel like
We'll hit that up.
everybody going, well, not everybody going digital, but they're
Yeah.
only good for accessories.
It's far too many people going digital for them to really make a lot of money.
A lot of the issues
And the
are
game
what
stores
they
like
did.
that only make real money off of used games anyway.
yeah.
Well, a lot of the issues are what they've done. You know, especially with a lot of these dumpster divers.
Yeah.
So,
It is what it is.
you know, when we get to that topic, a lot of it'll come out and you'll
Sounds
be
like a
shocked.
great topic for the next
You
show.
ever try to sell a game at
Next
GameStop?
week on
You take us out of here. 'cause
next week on Dragon Ball. Nah.
Next week on FYC The Show.
Goku's walking for another half hour.
Nah, Goku's training.
He's training.
He's training.
He trains for how many episodes?
Trained for 7 episodes straight, and then he punched somebody one time and won the fight. Like
Overcharged, just like in the video game. Pops out, kills everything, and then he's like, "Oh, I gotta go back to train." Like, I just got used to using you. I hate that game now. That game so
Yo,
much.
that game is kind of weird because it's literally called Dragon Ball Kakarot,
Yeah.
and you barely play with him.
You barely play with
What?
him. He was the son.
He's always
man.
training.
He's always training.
Wow.
I hate that
Like
game.
he's in the background training. You use Gohan a
I
lot
have it
more.
for the PC, and I'm just like ready to just uninstall it because I'm just
Damn.
like, yo, I hate this game. I am tired of chasing down colored Dragon Balls and fighting random people, killing them in one hit, and then yeah. I at one point I think I liked fishing
maybe
more.
I'll catch
And
you
I
on
hate
sale,
all
wait
those
till
types
it's
of
on
games
sale.
where you gotta fish and whatever. I think I like fishing more. I
Wait,
Yo,
like-
the fishing on that game is weird too.
You have
pull
to?
a fish out and you kick him or something.
crazy.
Like who's kicking fish?
Goku.
All right.
Take us out of here.
All right,
man.
we need to get up out of here. So we calling it out. We calling it a day. FYC The Show. Vinny Bronco.
Repercussion.
Just heck.
Murder 9300.
We out. Peace. Good show, guys.
Next on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that Dragon Ball Z shit is crazy, son. And I'm playing that shit. I'm
Next
like,
episode.
You're doing the wrong one. It's not Dragon Ball. That's
What
Lord
are these
of the Rings.
I said.